There's a moment in life when you realize the world is never going to stop throwing challenges at you. People will talk, situations will get messy, plans will fall apart, and sometimes it'll feel like life is deliberately pressing every single one of your buttons just to see how far it can push you before you break. But here's the truth, you don't have to let it break you. You don't have to let every little thing steal your peace. You can train your mind to remain unbothered, no matter what comes your way. And when you do, you unlock a level of freedom and power that most people will never experience. Imagine this. You're driving to work. Traffic is terrible. You spill coffee on your shirt, and when you finally get there, your boss throws another problem at you. Most people would carry that frustration all day like a heavy backpack they can't take off. But you could smile, take a deep breath, and let it slide off you like rain on glass. Because you've built a mind that doesn't bend to chaos, it controls it. The first step? Realizing that your reactions are a choice. The way you respond to life is far more important than what life actually does to you. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same situation. One explodes, gets angry, ruins their whole day. The other stays calm, keeps their focus, and moves forward. The difference isn't the problem, it's the mindset. I remember meeting a man at a small cafe in New York. His name was Sam. He had this calm energy that was almost magnetic. The world could be falling apart around him, and he'd still have this peaceful smile on his face. I asked him how he did it. He said, "I stopped letting things that won't matter in 5 years steal 5 minutes of my peace." That one sentence stuck with me, because he was right. So much of what upsets us is temporary, yet we give it permanent space in our minds. Training your mind to be unbothered starts with perspective. You have to constantly remind yourself, this moment will pass. The fight with your friend, the rude comment from a stranger, the opportunity you missed, it all fades. But if you let it take root in your mind, it grows into bitterness, stress, and exhaustion. Think about how much mental energy you've wasted on things that didn't deserve it. Every moment you spend angry at something small is a moment you could have spent building, loving, creating, or just being at peace. Life is too short to hand over your happiness to every inconvenience that comes your way. It's not about being emotionless. It's about choosing where to put your emotions. It's about knowing that your peace is worth protecting, and not everything deserves a reaction. The world is loud, but you can choose to be still inside. The journey to that kind of inner strength won't happen overnight. It's a process, and in the beginning, it's going to feel unnatural. You'll want to react. You'll feel that rush of irritation or anger. But here's the key. Notice it, acknowledge it, and then let it go. Don't feed it. Because the less you feed your frustration, the weaker it becomes. You start small. Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of shouting or honking, take a breath. When someone tries to pull you into their drama, choose silence instead of getting pulled in. When plans change unexpectedly, adapt instead of complaining. Every time you do this, you're strengthening that mental muscle. It's like training at the gym. You don't build strength with one workout. You build it with repetition. The more you practice staying unbothered, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you won't even have to think about it. It'll be who you are. And here's the magic. When you master staying calm, you start to see opportunities other people miss. While they're distracted by anger, you're thinking clearly. While they're stuck in negativity, you're moving forward. You become the person others look to when things get tough once you understand that your reactions are a choice. The next step is learning how to strengthen that choice until it becomes second nature. And that's where self-awareness comes in, the skill most people ignore. See, you can't control what you're not aware of. If you react without even noticing you're reacting, you're living on autopilot. And autopilot is where most people lose their peace. They hear a comment, feel insulted, and snap back instantly. No pause, no thought, just reaction. To train your mind to stay unbothered, you need to create space between what happens and how you respond. That space is where wisdom lives. It's where you remind yourself, I'm in control here. I decide how this story goes. Think of it like this. You're standing on a beach. A wave crashes into you. That's the event, the challenge, the unexpected insult, the bad news. Most people get swept away with the water. But when you're trained, you plant your feet, you stand strong, and you let the water pass without moving you. That's what it means to be unshakable. I remember a time in my own life when I completely failed at this. I was working a job I didn't love, and one day, my manager criticized my work in front of the entire team. I felt my face burn. I went home angry, replayed it in my head for hours, and barely slept that night. Looking back now, I realized that I gave away my peace too easily. My entire day, my sleep, even my next morning, were stolen, not by my manager, but by me, because I chose to hold on to it. That's when I started keeping a trigger journal. Every time something upset me, I'd write it down, not to relive it, but to notice patterns. I learned that the same kinds of situations were stealing my peace over and over. Small delays, unexpected criticism, rude behavior from strangers. Once I saw the pattern, I could prepare for it. It's much easier to stay calm when you see trouble coming. And here's a truth I wish someone had told me sooner. People who try to provoke you are looking for a reaction because your reaction gives them power. When you don't react, you take that power back. Nothing frustrates a troublemaker more than someone who refuses to get upset. Training your mind also means training your focus. What you focus on grows. So if you keep replaying every negative thing, you're feeding the problem. The fastest way to stay unbothered? Shift your focus to something you can control, your breathing, your posture, your next action. That one shift can take you from angry to calm in seconds. Meditation helped me with this, but not in the way most people think. I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop for hours. I'm talking about simple daily pauses, 2 minutes in the morning to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, nothing owns me. I choose my peace. Over time, these small moments of control add up. You'll find yourself in situations where you would have exploded before, but now you just don't. You'll watch the drama around you and feel no urge to join it. You'll become the calm in the middle of the storm. And here's the beauty. Staying unbothered doesn't just make your life easier. It makes you stronger, smarter, and more magnetic. People will start to notice. They'll ask, "How do you stay so calm?" And you'll smile, knowing the answer is simple. You trained for this. By now, you understand the basics. You control your reactions, you create space before responding, and you shift your focus to what you can control. But if you really want to master the art of staying unbothered, you have to dig deeper into your mental wiring. The mind is like a stage. Every day, events, people, and thoughts are fighting to take center stage. If you let them, the loudest and most chaotic ones will dominate the show. But you're the director. You get to decide who gets the spotlight. And here's the truth. Most situations that bother you don't actually matter in the grand scheme of your life. They only feel big because you magnify them in your mind. That driver who cut you off this morning? You won't remember them in 2 weeks. That coworker's passive-aggressive comment? It only has power if you give it attention. One of the best mental frameworks I've learned is the 5x5 rule. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset about it. That simple rule can save you days of unnecessary stress. But staying unbothered isn't just about ignoring negativity. It's about replacing it with intentional thoughts. For example, when someone criticizes you, instead of thinking, "They're attacking me," you can think, "This is feedback I can choose to use or ignore." See the difference? One mindset steals your peace, the other protects it. I remember meeting a man named Daniel at a seminar in New York. He was the calmest person I'd ever seen. Nothing rattled him. During lunch, I asked him his secret. He said, "I play a mental game. Whenever something happens that could upset me, I ask, will this help me grow? If yes, I use it. If no, I let it go." That simple filter had made him immune to petty stress. It made me realize something powerful. Most people want a stress-free life, but they spend their energy feeding stress instead of training their peace. They check the news first thing in the morning, scroll social media looking for outrage, and complain about things they can't change. That's like planting weeds in your own garden and wondering why nothing beautiful grows. To train your mind, you have to become a strict gatekeeper. Not everything deserves access to your mental space. If a thought doesn't serve you, it doesn't get to stay. If a conversation drags you into negativity, you can walk away. If an environment keeps triggering you, you can leave it. And here's the paradox. The more you protect your peace, the more powerful you become. Because now, your energy isn't wasted on things that don't matter. It's focused on what does. That's when opportunities start appearing, because your mind is clear enough to see them. But let's be real. You will still have moments when you feel yourself slipping. That's normal. Even the most disciplined minds have triggers. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to recover faster. A trained mind can take a deep breath, step back, and reset in seconds. The next time you face something that would normally shake you, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. Does this actually matter in the long run? Am I choosing peace or letting it be stolen? You'll be surprised how often those 2 questions will stop your stress in its tracks. Let's talk about the real tests. The moments when staying unbothered isn't just a nice idea, it's a survival skill. It's easy to be calm when life is smooth. The challenge is staying that way when chaos shows up at your doorstep. Take work, for example. Maybe your boss criticizes you in front of your team. Your heart races, your pride stings, and your first instinct is to defend yourself. But here's the thing. If you react emotionally, you hand over control. If you stay composed, you remain in charge of the situation. A calm mind allows you to respond with clarity instead of regret. The same principle applies in relationships. Arguments often spiral not because of the actual problem, but because people let emotions hijack their words. Imagine a heated moment where instead of shouting back, you take a breath and say, "I hear you. Let's talk," when we're both calmer. That's not weakness, that's control. You've refused to be pulled into a storm. And when it comes to personal setbacks, like failing an exam, losing a deal, or being rejected, this is where your unbothered mindset becomes your shield. You could fall into self-pity, or you could tell yourself, "This is just one page in my story, not the whole book." That reframing keeps you moving forward instead of getting stuck. I remember coaching a young entrepreneur, Lisa, who lost her biggest client overnight. She was devastated, but instead of panicking, she asked herself, "What can I learn? What can I create from this?" Within 2 months, she replaced that client with 3 others, doubling her income. She told me, "The old me would have wasted weeks crying. Now I waste nothing." You see, the ability to stay unbothered in tough moments is not about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to give negativity more space than it deserves. It's about protecting your energy so you can use it where it matters. A useful technique here is what I call mental zooming out. When you feel overwhelmed, imagine your life from 30,000 feet above. From that high-up view, today's problem is just a small dot on a massive landscape. That perspective reminds you that you've survived worse, and you'll survive this too. Another strategy is to have an emotional reset button. For some, it's taking a walk. For others, it's listening to music, writing in a journal, or doing a quick workout. The moment you feel yourself getting pulled into stress, hit that reset button. You can't always control what happens, but you can control how long you stay in that state. Remember, unbothered doesn't mean numb. It means you care, but only about what actually matters. You care enough about yourself to not let every wave knock you over. If you've made it this far, you already understand something that most people never learn. Peace is a skill. And like any skill, the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Life will not stop testing you. People will still cut you off in traffic. Your plans will still get delayed. Someone will still try to provoke you, hurt you, or doubt you. The world won't change overnight, but you can. And when you do, everything around you feels different. Think about the moments in your life when you reacted without thinking. The arguments that could have been avoided. The stress that could have been spared. The nights you lay awake replaying something you wish you'd handled differently. That's the cost of letting the outside world control your inner state. But here's the truth. They can't control you unless you hand them the keys. So from this moment forward, lock your peace away like it's priceless, because it is. Treat it like a treasure that no one can buy, steal, or trick you into giving up. You are not here to be shaken by every gust of wind. You are here to stand firm like a mountain, unmovable, unshaken, unbothered. The greatest freedom you will ever experience is the freedom from overreacting. The freedom to walk away from drama. The freedom to smile at an insult. The freedom to choose calm when chaos is begging for your attention. That is power. That is maturity. That is self-respect. And when you master this, you'll notice something magical. Your influence grows. People start to trust you more. They come to you for advice. They wonder how you stay so composed when everything is falling apart. You become the lighthouse in their storm, not the ship that gets tossed around. So here's your call to action. Starting today, commit to the rule of 3. When something triggers you, stop, breathe, and count to 3 before you respond. It sounds simple, but that pause is where your power lives. That's where you choose control over chaos. That's where you train your mind to be the master, not the servant, of your emotions. From now on, you don't just live life, you command it. You walk into every situation knowing nothing can steal your peace unless you allow it. And when people try to rattle you, just smile and think, I'm already unshakable. Remember this, a mind at peace is untouchable, unstoppable, and unforgettable. And that mind can be yours.